The following program may contain coarse language, violence, nudity, mature subject matter, or scenes which may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Let me see. Welcome, everyone. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell, coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. And we're coming to you around the world tonight on the Talkstar Radio Network, Mutual Broadcast Network, and, of course, the X Zone Broadcast Network. And these are strange times. There's no two ways about it. But before we get into the strangeness of what we do here on the X Zone, we have a special event coming up for Halloween. It's going to be the first annual X Zone Halloween Bash. We're going to have psychics. We're going to have palm readers. We're going to have ghost investigators, ufologists. We're going to have astrologers and much more. And as we get closer to the first day of October, when we're going to make this announcement and other major announcements, I'm going to tell you something. Kind of like it's the resurrection of the X Zone. XZoneRadioTV.com is the website, and on Facebook, Facebook.com, X Zone Radio TV. October 7th, a date to remember and to mark on your calendar if you live in the Halifax, Nova Scotia area. It is the 2023 Halifax Paranormal Symposium, and for more information on that, please visit ppri.net. And on September the 20th, which is next Wednesday, the public release of the X Chronicles newspaper will be made available for one and all at xchronicles.net. That's just xchronicles.net. Every night people go to sleep. Many people dream. Other people's, well, they say they don't dream, but do they dream? What is dreaming all about? What is the significance of a dream, and why do we dream? Well, joining us from Montreal is a gentleman that we've had the pleasure of having on the show here many times. It's always a great pleasure talking to him, being from Montreal. I like touching base with him. Craig WEBB is our guest. And Craig WEBB, welcome back. And before we start talking about dreams, what are they doing with the road through Mount Royal?
Oh my gosh. Lots of road work. I mean, there's two big seasons in Montreal, maybe like Toronto, winter and then road construction, that like very long season. There's a whole new train, like I guess light rail transit going through the whole West Island and everything. So it's crazy out here.
I understand that the road from Park Extension, Park Avenue, that is near the base of the mountain, all the way across to, I've been away so long I can't remember the name of the road, but the road that passes Beaver Lake, they're going to just they're just going to close that off to bicycles.
Permanently or during the construction?
Holy crow! You're in Montreal. You don't know these answers?
Don't know. I don't bike over the mountain. That's too hard work. I go to the West Island where it's nice and wooded and there's rivers and it's a little more picturesque. But I'd say there's a rough estimate from what I've seen. About 1 out of 3 streets has some construction on it now. It's just beyond. Yeah, everything's orange.
So, how have you been since you and I last talked a little while ago, my friend?
Lots of life adventures. Yeah.
Ooh.
And congrats on all the new stations and syndication and reaching
Oh,
more folks with the message here.
oh, thank you so
Sounds like
much for
you've
that,
been
Craig.
busy too. I
I've been
guess
busy. Yeah,
I relate to the outreach. I guess an interesting one since I think since we spoke is somehow I guess I ended up as a filmmaker. All of a
wow.
sudden, I woke up with a dream where this
Yeah.
character said, "Hey, if you go into this nearby cave, there's going to be a really nice treasure for you there." Okay. So I go into the cave, and long story short, I pull out this interesting kind of whiskey bottle. And, I just kind of experimented a little bit next day because I remembered, oh, I have a whiskey bottle. I gave away Christmas gifts and I put little LEDs in them. So
Yeah.
playing with it, put it in front of like a prism that I had kind of a rainbow coming off of, and started getting all these pictures on the walls. And it turned into a film that I think has been selected, official finalist, and winner at like 30 festivals.
Good for you, my
Something
man.
like this. I was
Good
like,
for
well,
you.
that was just my like COVID, like overnight, I guess, special delivery. So a little bit of filmmaking, but going video now, I guess, a little bit. And isn't
Yeah.
that the case for you too? More and more video happening?
Oh my gosh. Everything we do now is audio and video, totally digital media.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, for our listeners and our viewers who haven't had the opportunity of saying hello to Craig Webb before, tell them about who you are and why you decided to research dreams.
Great. Well, I sort of say I got kidnapped. I guess that's sort of what happened. I mean, I was minding my own business, good little physicist, studying objective reality.
Mhm.
And then pretty much out of nowhere, I wasn't really interested, but I wasn't against it either. I started remembering up to 10 dreams a day
Wow.
and then having lucid dreams. We can talk about those, but dreams during which I knew I was dreaming, oh, you mean physical life? That's not the only station on the big dial of experience. And then precog, seeing the future really clearly and accurate,
Mhm.
specific stuff. And I was like, wow, they didn't teach me that in physics class. So I guess natural curiosity, the experiential part, and like what I now call subjective science, first person science. I started exploring more and more, and later ended up at the Stanford lab, lucid dreaming research with the world pioneering research at Stanford that brought, I guess, lucid dreaming to much of the West. And then continued back here in Montreal with the Dreams Foundation, lots of other things, my book, and now a new film, Treasure in the Bottle, and another one coming soon too. So I guess the outreach of stuff that I thought could maybe help people, inspire them, things I'd learned, experiences I've had, research I found that, hey, let's give this stuff away and make the world better, hopefully.
That's right. Hey, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem, right, pal?
Amen. Amen.
Uh, what is a dream and why do we dream, Craig?
Well, dream will depend on each person's definition a little bit. I can give one, but
Okay.
let's say somebody said, oh, well, I dream of becoming a great skater. I said, okay, well, that's accurate. That's one way that we use the word dream. And it's actually linked with these nighttime things. We
Mhm.
can get to that link. And then probably what we're mostly going to use tonight is these, let's say, altered state. But some people say, oh, yeah, I dream with my eyes open. I dream awake. There's some songs with that. Eyes wide shut. No, that's a different one. But they're sort of dreaming eyes wide open or something. There's a new song there. I forget who. And then there's obviously the more overnight sleeping dreams. And some science has shown,
Mhm.
stats have shown that one of the key aspects is learning. That's probably one of the biggest ones. Sort of like we learn to walk and talk as children in dreams before physically we sort of figure out the movements, the vocal sounds,
Mhm.
etc. And naturally later, teenage years, emotional stuff. We can get to some of the amazing applications of dreams, but let's just say it's a proving learning grounds. Example, German Olympic aerial ski team, and still to this day, after like 25 years, they use lucid dreaming, so conscious dreaming. They can
Right.
guide the dreams a bit to actually practice aerial maneuvers before they try them out physically or perfect maneuvers. If they crash in the dream, well, they don't try that one tomorrow on the actual course. But if they get a really good one,
Mhm.
it's shown scientifically from kind of neurons firing, blood flow. They're actually improving the muscle mass, maybe their neural connections, balance, etc. And they're training themselves while asleep. So learning's a big one, and lots of other things. Nightmares, we could talk about those.
Yeah. What happens if we don't dream? Is there any psychological ramification for not dreaming?
Yeah, well, usually this is an interesting one from your Montreal background. You might like. I don't often share this one, but the interesting study was done in the sleep lab here at Sacré-Cœur Hospital, Dream and Research Lab, right after the film festival of, I guess what it was, the Guinness World Book, where you tried to stay awake and watch. I think it was like some kind of scary tomato horror movie or something about tomatoes, as many times as you can without falling asleep. Something super boring. And somebody did 5 days or
Oh
something
my God.
ridiculous, like straight. I think he got 5 minutes every hour to take a bathroom break or whatever. But what was most interesting is we got the person into the lab right after the, I guess, the official ending of when they fell asleep. And they slept for 36 hours.
Oh my God.
With huge amounts of very long periods, what they call rapid eye movement, or the more visual dreaming.
Right.
So you can start to see this REM rebound happens, and that answers your question that there's pretty important natural physiological processes happening, from deep sleep, sort of healing, physiological rebalancing, etc., digestion, obviously, other blood endocrine things going on, to natural learning, integrating our memories. That's probably more one of the functions of dreaming. To creative explorations, sometimes, finishing unfinished business, emotional stuff we didn't address during the day. Or it could be we had the big MSG pizza at like 11:30 p.m., went to bed at 11:45 and had a nightmare. Okay, don't try to interpret it, but the message is there. Don't have that at midnight.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's right. Don't eat
Watch the
before you go to
X-Zone
bed.
instead of having the big pizza.
There you go. Does everybody dream? And is there a difference between a dream that is in color and a dream that is in black and white?
Yeah, and people use this word technicolor, which is actually a trademark. So be careful, people. I don't think they're going to come after you. But so people say, oh, sometimes I dream in technicolor. Usually what I've seen when I interviewed or sort of check with people and in the research is sort of better, more vivid recall, and then specific symbols or specific objects or places or people, or maybe sort of a tone of like a setting or something is a specific color. More than just they remember all the colors. But you'd be interested in some new research that we've come across. There's a whole bunch of new animal research, but this is one of my favorites. They've actually more or less proven, I mean, it's a little loose word of the word proven, but shown that spiders dream.
Spiders?
Yeah, we didn't get the dream report because, they couldn't hold a pen with all 8 hands.
Yeah. How do you find out if a spider dreams?
Isn't that the question, though?
Wow.
So you actually tracked, you have to focus on one set of eyes because sometimes they have like 6 or 8 eyes. But they focused like a pretty tiny, like high resolution zoom camera on the eyes, and they found they went into periods of what's very close to REM sleep, acting out like they're jumping and the different things. So it's assumed or inferred that, wow, they're actually dreaming. Octopus was shown to be acting out nightmare in the tank while fully asleep, etc. So there's some interesting ones.
Okay,
Is that people? Sometimes they're people. Yeah. They think they're people.
I got to ask you, who paid for the spider research?
I don't know. That's Raid, maybe one of the bug
my!
repellents.
I never thought in all. I have heard some weird things on this show over the years.
Well, I thought you'd like that one.
I do,
especially coming from Craig Webb. Sorry for that bad.
Hey, Craig Webb, the original Spider-Man in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. You and I have to take our break, but Exonation, if you'd like to find out more about my friend Craig Webb, visit www.dreamsbehindthemusic.com. And Craig and I will be back on the other side of this short break as we continue here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. Oh my God, the next time I see a spider, I'm not going to step on it because I'm going to say, you poor little schmuck, you dream. We'll be back. Don't go away.
Are you ready to dive into the mysteries of the unknown? Tune into the electrifying X Zone radio TV show hosted by the one and only Rob McConnell.
I'm Rob McConnell, and get ready for a mind-bending journey through the unexplained phenomenon that surrounds us all. From UFO encounters to cryptids, ghosts, and everything in between, we've got it covered here in the X Zone.
Rob McConnell, the seasoned investigator and renowned radio personality, brings you the most compelling interviews with top experts, authors, and experiencers from around the world. Each episode is an unforgettable exploration into the depths of the extraordinary.
That's right, X Zone Nation. Join me every week as we open the door to the supernatural and explore the strange and amazing stories that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew.
And it's not just radio anymore. With our groundbreaking TV show, you can now witness the sessions unfold right before your eyes. From chilling reenactments to captivating visuals, prepare yourself for a multimedia experience like never before.
With a legacy spanning over 2 decades, the X Zone Radio and TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, is your ultimate source for mind-blowing entertainment and thought-provoking discussions. Join our growing community of truth seekers as we continue to unlock the world's mysteries.
So, why wait? Step into the X Zone and embark on a journey that will challenge your beliefs, ignite your curiosity, and keep you on the edge of your seat.
Remember, X Zone Nation, the truth is out there, and it's waiting for you right here on the X Zone Radio and TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell. Don't miss a minute of the action.
Tune in now on your favorite radio station or visit xzoneradiotv.com to join the adventure. The X Zone Radio TV show with Rob McConnell, where reality meets the unknown.
The X Zone Radio TV show, unraveling the secrets of the universe, one episode at a time. For more information, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com.
And welcome back. Before we get back to my very special guest, Craig Webb, speaking about spiders, what was that name? Craig, what was the name of the song by Jim Stafford? Spiders and Snakes. There you go. I wonder if Snakes Dream. We'll have to ask Craig when we bring him back on. I'd just like to say hello to all my friends at Classic 1220 CFAJ here in St. Catharines. They are now on the air. They've been on the air for the past week. And if you love the best of the classics, the Beatles, the Dave Clark Five, the Hollies, Bread, and the list goes on, do yourself a favor if you're driving throughout Niagara listening to this show right now. After the show stops, take your FM tuner and go to 1220 AM. And if you're listening on the internet, go to their website, www.classic1220.ca. And a special hello to 3 buddies of mine that work at 1220. The best broadcast engineer in the world, the one and only Joe Gurney. Chuck LaFleur. I had the pleasure of working with Chuck many years ago at 1220 AM when it was CHSC here in St. Catharines. And to Pete Dichter, another good friend who was with us at the beginning of the X Zone TV show and the X Chronicles newspaper. Guys, I love your shows. I love your station. Congratulations on launching an A1 station, because Niagara deserves what you guys put out there. Craig West is my guest. I said Craig West. It's Craig Webb, as in Spider-Man, Spider-Man.
Or maybe I'm setting with the sun in my elder years here, going western.
Yeah. Head west, young man, head west. All right, Craig, let's talk serious business here. Sure. Why do people have nightmares? Like, I don't know I used to have some terrific nightmares when I was a kid, but I've got to be honest with you, Craig, for the last 30, 40, 50 years, I haven't had any nightmares.
Well, that's probably positive. You have a decent dream recall?
Oh, yes. Very, very good. I have an excellent dream recall.
That's good. So it sounds like...
In fact, you and I have talked where I know I can actually have a dream within a dream within a dream and know it's a dream. And when I know it's a dream, I just have a blast.
Nice. Like Inception, right? They
Yeah,
were like 4 levels deep or something.
at least.
Okay, so clear recall, that's good. I'm just asking that question because there's sort of 2 classes there. If you have pretty regular and clear recall, you and or
Mhm.
our listeners and viewers, then probably nightmares is coming as a sort of precog warning. Maybe something in the future is going to happen weird. If
Yeah.
you're not having them, that means you're keeping things in balance, you're making smart decisions, and probably you're not going to run into too much trouble. Crash ahead. It's not you don't need the smoke alarm going off. So on that level, nightmares can kind of be like a warning system. The oil light on your car of watch out. In 300 miles, it's going to be an engine job. So just go get an oil change today. That's a nightmare. The oil
Yeah.
change is the warning. However, it could be that, sort of war vets, car accident people, or any kind of a strong emotional trauma can
Hmm.
kind of have recurring dreams, physiological nightmares. In other words, a big pizza at midnight or certain medications obviously can do it. Some people have it from drugs and things. So a
Right.
physiological based nightmare, usually not worth interpreting or looking at the content other than the message, don't do whatever you did or try to avoid that medication or wean off it if you can, if you're taking one. So there could be the warning aspect. And then once in a while, there's a good old, like, I wanted to wake up. I wanted the system, like a Stephen King. Please
Hmm.
bring another nightmare because he actually inspires his books with them. Or James Cameron's Terminator,
Yes.
I'll
Yes.
be
That's right.
back.
Yeah.
Came from like a nightmare, sort of a half delirious, like fever nightmare. So it could be a creative inspiration a la horror. So you can kind of turn, I guess, lemon into lemonade, something like that.
It's so funny, Craig, because my wife, Laura, will tell me about a dream she has had when we're having coffee in the morning. And she'll say, "What do you make of the dream, Robbie?" And I will be able to look at what she has told me and say, "Well, honey, that's because last night before you went to bed, you were watching a movie about aliens, or you and I had a discussion about something in the news." And does the media play a large part in what people are dreaming? And is there a connection between dreams and the unseen news? And I'm talking about Wi-Fi, I'm talking about microwaves, I'm talking about AM, FM frequencies that people may not be aware of that are actually impacting their lives.
Yes, to all of the above, as you've kind of intuited yourself already. We can go a little specifically. Obviously, when we're watching something before sleep, sort of ideally choose your media wisely, otherwise
Mm,
garbage in, garbage out for your
yeah.
dreams. You sort of rehash. That's called day residue. You'll like this. There's an interesting study shows that the amount of day residue, or otherwise the symbols from our waking life that show up in dreams, is actually at a big peak 5 to 7 days later. Not like 4 days, 3 days, or like 10 days, but 5 to 7, which who knows, maybe some inner version of the week is going on in our physiology, in
Mhm.
our biometrics and stuff. Anyway, so we have the kind of incorporation, even the emotional environment, even let's say it wasn't a conversation or anything, but just an interaction could easily show up because emotions unprocessed will be there. Tuning into, let's say, kind of remote viewing style, absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of my students and I, at many times, have tuned into events that are simultaneous, like happening now or during the time I was sleeping, anyways, but somewhere else in the world that I couldn't have any way of knowing about until after. Was it a precog for when I learned about it in the news? Maybe. A source I trust says that actually precog and clairvoyance and telepathy, for some reason, are actually just different angles on the same type of inner perception, because you always learn about the synchronicity later in time. So you could say it's all precog or whatever. So there's interesting tunes to that. But yeah, there's lots of, I guess, unknown things. I don't
Hmm.
want to pretend to have all the answers, but I like that each person
Sure.
does a little bit of their own subjective science and checks out, hey, is there a trend? Is there statistics? First person researchers, that's what we all get to do with dreams. That's what I call lucid living. You're the objective scientist going to a subjective dreamland, exploring, bringing back your data, maybe comparing on internet, checking with some experts, checking with trends, but getting your own data first person and then making your theory, trying it out, learning techniques. I think that's the empowered dreamer we want nowadays.
Craig, is it possible for us to communicate with each other in a dream state?
That's a great one. Yeah, my students love that one. So we saw dream telepathy is one way to say it, or
Okay,
mutual
dream
dreaming.
telepathy. Okay.
Yeah, mutual dreaming, is it same? What ends up being more common, and I've seen a lot of, in fact, any partners out there, I guess people usually sleep together, but family members, anybody who's emotionally really close, just check with your family member, your significant other, after a night's sleep. Call them if they're not present, but if they're present, just check. You'll find that the amount of mutual theming, it's kind of like mutual dreaming, but not maybe
Okay.
the exact symbols, sort of like same elements or same colors or a scenario or a location or maybe a very strong feeling will be very often. Sometimes it's exact, like me over here looking at this scene, you over there looking at the scene, I see you, and then we report it in waking life. If you have a little time, or maybe after the break, I can tell an amazing story where two of my students had like a 200% out of 100 hit around mutual dreaming by being lucid.
Why don't you tell us the story now,
Okay.
And after we can go to the break.
So I'll try to squeeze it in here. It's a little longer. That's why I mentioned.
Yeah, no problem.
But one student says, okay, I want to go visit this other student. They gave full permission for sharing. So he said, I want to go visit Mika.
Okay.
Didn't know much about her other than she's in the dream class. They're kind of learning together. And he learned how to become lucid. So in a dream, he put his hand on the doorknob to take the dogs out. But the doorknob fell off in his hand. And he said, hey, wait a minute. The normal doorknob hasn't done that in like 20 years. So maybe I'm dreaming. In fact, he was. So he went outside in the dream backyard and then decided, I wanted to go visit Mika, wherever that is. He didn't know because he didn't know where she lived. Flew up, flew over, ended up somewhere around San Francisco. There's lots of little hints here, but he saw an old kind of Asian gentleman in the street, and the Asian gentleman said, she's down there. You can look. So he went down the street, ended up at an apartment, checked the number, and he wrote me privately before contacting her, and the number was accurate to her apartment door. And then he came inside in the dream still, and he saw this ancient Chinese gentleman on the wall in a picture. That's the guy who just gave me directions, etc. Going on for a little while. Excuse me, Japanese, not Chinese. He sort of noted the position of books on her night table and the conversation they had, and checked with me. So I got them to send their reports. Not exactly perfect scientific.
Sure.
A little bit of a kind of trying to keep a little safety and some accuracy there. And there was like about 10 fact overlaps of where the books were, what was on top. It was actually her dad she was talking to at the time of the dream, a Japanese gentleman who was in a picture on the wall. And obviously the apartment number was right. And just to not be outdone, about I think a month later, she actually went back and dreamt with him. So very strong mutual dreams by choice because it's fun. Not sure all the practical applications, because in waking life we have all these video chats and pull up a smartphone, so you don't really necessarily need it, but it's kind of neat to know, especially when it starts to come with maybe a segue here with if you want to connect with a deceased. How do you do that? You can't pull up your iPhone or whatever to connect with the deceased, at least not that I know.
Well, let's talk about connecting with the deceased on the other side of this break. Exo Nation, Craig Webb is our special guest, and we will be back as the Exxon continues from our broadcast center and studios, where St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on the shores of Lake Ontario. We're about 15 minutes from the U.S. border at Lewiston, 20 minutes from the U.S. border in Niagara Falls, and about 30 minutes from the U.S. border at Fort Erie going into Buffalo. I'm Rob McConnell, and we'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue talking about the strange, the weird, the unknown, but also searching for answers and demanding the truth. This is the Exxon, www.exxonradiotv.com. Don't go away.
So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
And welcome back, everyone. Craig Webb is our very special guest, all the way from Montreal, the most beautiful city in the world. And I can say that because I'm from Montreal. And, you know, Tony Bennett sang "I Left My Heart in San Francisco." Craig, you should write a song about Montreal.
I left my brain or my gallbladder or what?
You crack me up, old friend. You crack. Hey,
I could do the road construction song. That would be a popular one.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Craig. What's happening on Crescent Street? Is the is Sir Winston Churchill pub still there?
I imagine. I can't honestly say that I've gone there lately. Since COVID, I haven't gone downtown quite as much, but there's some good ones. There's comedy clubs there too.
Oh, really?
Go to the comedy club there quite a bit.
That's super. That's
sort
super.
of improv and players and then comedians, of course.
Getting back to dreams, my old friend. Communicating with each other in a dream. Okay, I can understand that if two people are alive. Okay, I'll buy into that. But I've heard stories or reports that people have been able to communicate those who are on the other side or who have passed away in a dream. Is this possible, Craig?
Yeah, well, that's actually one of the very most common dreams out there. You'd be surprised.
Really?
If you sort of check a little bit with adults, you'll see that the most common dream is dreaming of deceased. And then there's other themes, but that's a huge one, especially in older years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's happening a lot now. That's always the interpretation question, or I guess maybe a choice. Is this an actual contact? Sort of with their being, their soul, their whatever, what have you, their consciousness. I usually leave that up to the person to decide, but then I state some facts and interesting things. Usually the one that kind of shocks them is when you can get something very accurate and specific that you couldn't know any other way, kind of shown in the dream by the deceased brings, or they bring some helpful info that might not prove something, but it gives a really valuable guidance for life. But for example, here's a little personal one here. I've become a drone pilot, Rob.
Oh, cool, man.
It's one of my new techniques for teaching my students. I actually show them like first person flying videos over the ocean or trees.
Oh, wow.
Works well for flying dreams and lucid dreams. But anyways, but when I was just kind of getting my, I guess I would say legs, but in this case, my arms, I was about, before I was getting my full on skill set, I wasn't too sure about going over water, and had a powerful dream with my recently deceased dad. First dream where I sort of really had what I felt like an actual contact. And I have the belief system and lots of experience to prove it, that sometimes, I don't think every time, but it's an actual visitation or connection with their being. And he came and said, let's go catch some big fish. And there's a whole excitement. And I woke up and there wasn't too much to go on there. Catch some big fish. What's that? But that day, my partner said, I was actually in Maui. So she said, oh, I just want to hang out on the lawn today.
Well, hold on here. You're talking about Maui. Where in Maui were you?
Oh, you know Maui pretty well?
We've got property in Maui.
I hope it's not near Lahaina. Wow, prayers.
No, it's in Kihei.
Okay, wow, Kihei. That's where I stay.
Yeah,
oh my gosh, we should look each other up.
Yeah.
I've been there like 6 times or so.
Oh, my Lord. We actually have a home in Kihei.
No way. That's so great. It's so beautiful there. Oh, my God.
Oh, I'll tell you, the people in Hawaii are the greatest people in the world.
So in front of you is Kamaiole 1, 2, or 3, the beach? Probably 2. Yeah,
2. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
It's a beautiful place. And I have so many friends in Maui who lost everything.
Oh, I know.
Because of the fires. Crazy. But you know what their attitude is? We're here. We can rebuild. We're okay.
And a lot of support came in. I think.
Oh, Lord, yes.
Still, some people lost everything. Their lives, all their memories, probably the hard drives, all their work, some of their work.
In fact, my wife was telling me yesterday that she said, don't make any plans for January. I said, why? Well, we're going to Maui for a month. I said, no, we're not. I said, honey, I love you. You're going to Maui for a month. I have to work. And she said, well, if you have to stay, then I will stay. With that little,
wow. That's dedication right there.
Yeah, she's a great lady. Hell,
Laura,
great.
3 cheers.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, we have what? 6 kids, 15 grandchildren, and 2 great grandchildren. Holy cow! And it's speaking about kids, they will come and tell me their dreams.
That's a legacy.
And they'll say, Papa, can you tell me about my dream? And I'll say, well, were you afraid? Oh, no, Papa, but I know when I sleep, I'm not here. And I'll say, where do you go, honey? We go to a special place, Papa, and I can fly. Nice. I say, well, what do you do when you fly, honey? I go all over the place, Papa. You know what I mean. And the innocence that children relate to you when they're talking about their dreams, Craig, is let's knock off all the crap that adults put into their dreams, and let's get just down to basics. Why do we try to over analyze our dreams when I believe dreams are very simple?
Yeah, generally, if you want to make a quick, this is kind of the Betty Crocker dream interpretation guideline, but it does work pretty, let's say, for a lot of dreams, is just check out the feeling.
Yeah.
That's what you said. You asked her, were you afraid? So the feeling is usually the Rosetta Stone that links dream experience with waking life. Did I feel the same feeling from the dream yesterday, a week ago, or maybe, the next day? Sometimes it's a precog. But that'll help link. And then you can fill in, draw the blanks and fill in the fact. So that's a pretty quick way to kind of connect. But yeah, I would probably get a little bit. I'm a thinkaholic, Rob. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I love I overanalyze
Almost
things.
kind
My
of
wife tells me that all the time.
overanalysis.
Yeah.
Think about it,
Yeah.
head centered.
Last night I had Dr. Craig Hogan on from the Afterlife Studies Institute.
Okay, well,
And I'm just wondering is when we go to sleep, Craig, is it possible that what we actually do is we go into a different dimension or a different reality that everyone who goes to sleep goes to, and that this is all part of the esoteric that we're just starting to understand.
like cyberspace, but Oniro space instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, let's say, I mean, you might call it a plane of consciousness. Maybe you'll call it a certain state.
Yeah,
There's lots of analogies or whatever. I don't think there's one place because, like, let's say a TV radio station has like many different places, although everybody
sure.
stay on the X zone here. That's the same thing for sort of altered states, and
Yeah.
people will call these dreams, or maybe I had a deja vu or a hallucination,
Mhm.
or I had a start before sleep, but I saw
Yeah,
grandma. So the language might not always be the same, but altered states. And the universal approach I like that kind of makes it easy because simple is good
yeah,
is I like the Seth Jane Roberts model that we have inner senses, kind of like the physical senses, eyes, nose, ears, touch, etc.
sure.
But inner correlates, invisible correlates, not on our physical body. And
Mhm.
so, of course, we can have an experience where we tune in and some senses that aren't even like the physical ones too. So we can see across time and that kind of thing. But certainly there's overlap. We can check and see if we dreamed with somebody. We can have targets. We can intentionally choose to dream on a picture or a topic or with somebody. Why not? And see what hits. Experiment. Have fun.
And
Actually,
and and if you're talking about having targets, are you bringing in remote viewing?
absolutely.
Okay.
So visual targets are good. I with my students, one of my
Mhm.
favorites now is because after my book, The Dreams Behind the Music, is a musical target. So they'll tune into a song or the artist. Or you could have like feeling. We've had smell, which is
Smell.
interesting because it's sort of brainstem kind of, yeah. Something like in the dream, they're really focusing on, and before sleep, focusing on, let's say, lavender
Okay.
or whatever smell you want, but something that's pretty recognizable by many people.
Well,
And
lavender
then,
also helps you go to sleep.
absolutely, that's why
Yeah.
I suggested that one.
Okay. Super.
It's a good one for sort of dream recall
Yeah.
too. And then see if the people can pick up on that without physically knowing. Later we can tell
Mhm.
them, but kind
Sure.
of an experiment and have hits. So is that remote smelling? I don't know. As long as you don't use it near the public urinal or whatever, you're good. But it's probably quite possible, as much as anything's possible. Look at any device we have in waking life kind of nowadays. Most
Mhm.
folks use a device. We can talk at a distance. You and I right
Yes.
now, video at a distance.
Yeah.
I can even like use these fancy sensors and touch or receive touch at a distance. There's a fancy connection for your computer. You can have smell that somebody
Yeah.
programs from like another country, and so on and so forth. So I don't see it's too big a leap to say, why not in a cyberspace? It's kind of like this, but maybe invisible after our eyes shut.
What we did earlier this week, Craig, is we've been working extensively with EI programming and formatting. We actually created a program that if you were to send us your picture and said, I would like to know who I was in a past life,
Wow,
the
nice.
AI will actually generate two pictures of you of who you were in a past life. Because what it does is it goes through the Ethernet, goes through the every access that it has, finds out as much about you, as much about your lineage, and kicks back
Like your
this information.
genealogy.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's very neat. Well, here's, can you add in whether they call it tags or, what are the suggested words?
All we do is we would, for example, take your picture that we've got right now, and we would say, please describe, or please, how do they, Craig, how do they do it? Okay. Please show us past lives, two past lives of the person in this picture.
Very neat.
And boom, within minutes, we have the AI rendition.
And where do people find that app, or where can
Oh,
they
all
go?
they need to do is just send us an email and we do it. It's our way of saying thank you for listening to the X Zone.
Oh, great. Well,
Yeah.
maybe you can get it right up on the site and people can
Yeah,
have
no.
access.
Yeah.
And
So what we'll do is we'll find a picture of you online and we'll send you who you were in two past lives.
I'm not sure 100% of the time I want to know. Hopefully I did positive things, whoever I was.
Hey, Craig, you know what? It's so great talking to you. We'll have to have you back on in a couple of weeks because you were kind enough to send us some of your music files. And unfortunately, because of all the work that we're doing here in the studio, because of
Sure.
what's happening,
Building up, right?
we couldn't do it. But what I would love to do, Craig, if it's okay with you, I know you're a very busy guy, is bring you on in a couple of weeks and let our listeners hear your music and to get a better understanding of what you're doing and who Craig Simweb is.
Absolutely. And we can have like lots of neat artist stories that people, recognizable names
Yeah.
that have big dreams.
I'd like that.
There's lots of new ones that I think listeners and viewers will love. So I'd be great. Let me know. I'd be up with that.
All right, old friend. And listen, let our listeners know where they can find out more about you and where they can get your music.
Oh, great. Well, check iTunes or Amazon Music. You can find out different songs and music of mine. Also, edutainer.ca. That's kind of my more performer music site. And I'm doing a big concert next weekend if you're around Montreal. So
Where are you
hit
doing
me
the
up.
concert?
The venue isn't finally defined, but somewhere on Monkland, if you know NDG.
Yeah, sure. I know NDG.
Sure.
Is it going to be streamed live around the world?
Probably not. Just
let me know. We can make it happen.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's aim for that in a future streaming.
You got it, buddy.
But it'll be dreamed up, and I'll try to dream it good. And then if people want to check out my book, 200 Top Artists Inspired by Their Dreams, lots of amazing stories and tips and principles anybody can use, dreamsbehindthemusic.com. And send me an email. I love hearing people's stories when they dream music or they meet an artist or anything like that.
Craig, as always, great talking to you, my friend. Take care of yourself. And Craig, one day my dad lives in Chambly, which is on the South Shore.
Oh, great.
It was his birthday last Friday.
Let's grab breakfast or something.
He's 94, God bless him.
Oh, wow.
And the next time Laura and I come to Montreal, we will get together with you and have breakfast and just
share
have
dreams, maybe?
Share dreams.
Nightmares? Who knows?
No. Craig Webb, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks,
Take care,
Rob.
my friend.
Great to join you.
All right, Exo Nation, this is my friend Craig Webb, and we'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the Exo from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario. And in my opinion, the difference between a dream and reality is just doing it. I'm Rob McConnell. We'll be back. Don't go away.